Good morning, this is Roger Thunder with the channel The Red Road. Welcome. Today I'm going to do a video on the Lakota language, but not just the Lakota language. It's also going to be on most of the spiritual words used in the Lakota language, referring to their spirituality or to their concept of the divine or their concept of nature. All these things will be included. Now, these illustrations that I'm going to be showing you are kind of like a flashcard, but actually they're called the Lakota Sweat Lodge cards. And these cards were originally formulated by the great medicine man Archie Fire Lame Deer, who was the son of John Fire Lame Deer, who was a great medicine man. So there's a lineage involved here. And these cards were done, again, in collaboration with artists and other people. And I received these cards probably 30 years ago, maybe, or somewhere around there. So I thought it would be a good tool to use to educate you as to some of the language of the Lakota people. And I've been asked to do this by several people. Could you inform us, or could you relay to us some of the ideas and language and that type of thing of the Lakota people? So that's what I'm going to do today. So I will start off with the first card, and there are a total of 50 cards. This is the first card, and so you see at the top you have the actual language of the word, and then down at the bottom you have what that word means. And then I have also made notes. As you can see, I have put some notes on the cards to actually embellish a little bit on what this card could mean for you, or what this image, word, whatever could mean for you in your life, and your if you're looking for a form of spirituality or answers or that type of thing. So the first card we have here is called a Wakan Tonka. You've heard me mention this name before in previous videos. It is the Great Spirit, or the Great Mystery. And as you can see by my notes there, it's the source, and it's also the source of peace and joy. And it is also the creative aspect of the universe. It is the masculine or male aspect of the universe, but it also includes the feminine aspect, and we'll get to that later with another card. But this is the first card. Now, what you might want to do with these cards is save this video, and if you're interested in the language and you want to learn from it, and go back to it from time to time. And you can also use this video for counseling or for answers in your everyday life. So let's say, suppose you get up one morning and you want to meditate on something, or you want to have an answer to something that has been bothering you. What you can do is you can take this video and you run your cursor along the bottom of the video. Take your mouse or your cursor and just pick a place on that little flat line on the bottom of this video, and just randomly go in there and hit on it to start the video, and whatever card shows up at that time you can pause the video and use that for like a meditation device, or a thought for the day, or an answer for the day to some problem that might be perplexing you at the moment. Okay, so this is the first card. Wakan Tonka, Great Spirit, your source of peace and joy and harmony with the universe and the natural order of things. This is the second card, called We, and down at the bottom it represents the sun. And as a meditation device, or thinking of it in a spiritual aspect, would be personal power, inner light, and connection, of course, with the spirit direction of the East. Now, there's another card that represents the spirit direction of the East. The sun rises in the East, and so you can look at this as the nurturing element of Grandfather, and that blesses all living things with the radiant rays of the sun for growth and just life on Earth in general. So this is the second card, We, Sun. You'll see it says number 1 here, but it's actually the second card because we started off previously on 0 here, Wakan Tonka. So the third card would be Skan, and that would be motion, Skan. Remember, these are all Lakota words. These are very profound. And that would be like the cycles of time, manifestation powers, blessings that are already here that just need to be accepted. So this is kind of like change. We all have change in our life, and we all have a motion in our life, or a going forward through our life. So that's what this word represents, Skan. The next one, card 3, would be Maka, or Mother Earth. Maka. If you got this card, like if you go through and randomly pick on the video and this card comes up, it could indicate, as the notes say here, the notes that I've written on here, it could indicate giving birth to new ideas or new beginnings. But also you want to realize that Mother Earth is very nurturing. Mother Earth has its own consciousness. Now, previously we looked at the sun, and the sun works in conjunction with Mother Earth, or is a part. So again, we're getting to the masculine and feminine aspects of the universe here. Mother Earth being, of course, the feminine, and the sun, Father Sky, or the sun being the masculine aspect of this natural order of things. And sometimes the word is Unsi Maka, which is used in the prayers. But Maka basically is Mother Earth. The next card we have here is Inyan. Inyan. Inyan means rock, or hardness, or mountain, and or stone. And Inyan represents support, solid foundations, balance, in other words, grounding yourself in the earth energy. And this could reduce stress. This could also facilitate a healing of sorts. So yeah, very, very, very good imagery here. I think that's called the Devil's Tower. There's a whole story surrounding this about the in Lakota mythology. I won't go into it now, but it has to do with bears scratching to get cause the scratches in this this tower to be apparent, and they were climbing or clamoring after something. It was either maidens or something like that. But there is a story surrounding this. Yin-yang, support, balance, reduction of stress, stone. Han-wi. This is the cycles of life, Han-wi, and it also represents the moon. And, acknowledgement. If you were to get this card or meditate upon this card, you would want to acknowledge the gifts that are given to you in everyday life and the acceptance of those gifts and the thankfulness for those gifts. Han-wi, the moon. Tate. Tate is the wind. The wind has many things that are good for us. Listening to the Wind is the name of my book, my award-winning book. I wrote a whole book about this. Tate, the wind. And basically it's the profound information or words or sacred words of the still small voice that comes through the wind. And also Tate has been known to stir things up. Changes, stirring things up, the blowing of the wind, planting of new seeds. In other words, when the wind comes up, it stirs things up, it takes seeds off the plants and scatters them around and plants new seeds, and just a beautiful concept in my mind. I've always loved this concept, Tate, this word Tate, the wind. Card 7, Unk, satisfaction and passion, the driving force, feeling essence of life. This is represents to me, it represents the chi, or the, let's say, the primal energy, or the prime mover of the universe, the activating force, a combination of the forces of the masculine and feminine aspect of the cosmos, the planet, the solar system. Just a driving force, and it can also be described as a sexual force, a passionate force. All of these terms described kind of like a chi or an energy or a prana. In Hindu, it would be called prana. And this force can always be used in the raising of your consciousness, like through Tantra, or just used in general as an activating force in your life, combining the masculine and feminine energies. Unk, satisfaction and passion. I love this one, Wakanyan. This is the thunder beings. This is the beings that travel around in clouds and shoot out thunderbolts. And so this could also represent energy, thunderbolts, lighting your path, striking down obstacles, much reverence to these beings, because in the Lakota, people considered these beings almost fearsome. When a thunderstorm came up, they had much reverence, great reverence for the thunder beings of the Wakanyan. And as I described in a previous video, Crazy Horse was a thunder dreamer and had visions about these creatures. So they can be awesome and blessing and very, very directive and giving you insight, but they can also be very destructive, and let's say destructive in the sense of protection from others, and that might want ill will, or might have ill will towards you, or just like some of the negative energy on the planet in general. I love this illustration. Wakanyan, thunder beings, Wakanyan. Tatanka Oyate, flashcard 9, the Bison Nation, the Bison Nation. Tatanka Oyate. This could indicate, if you got this flashcard, attainment of goals and fruition of hard work. A little bit about the bison here. The bison was considered very sacred. It represented mankind, but it also had, the bison supposedly came up from Middle Earth, as did in Lakota tradition. The origins of the Lakota people were from the center of the earth, or beneath the earth, which really indicates a oneness with the earth. And then when the buffalo appeared, they supplied all the needs of the Lakota people, and they used every part. They didn't kill indiscriminately. They were very discriminate, and offered prayers up for every time they killed the bison and used it for their purposes, which was just life in general. They used it for everything. They used the robes for the teepees, and they used the bones for weapons and knives, and they used the hooves and horns, the horns for decoration, and the hooves for a type of glue. It was like going to your local Home Depot or something. I mean, it basically provided everything that they needed in life, and it was a very reverent relationship between the Bison Nation and man, which really represented the same thing. If you get this card or this flash card, attainment of goals, fruition, hard work, that's what this would represent. Let's go to the next one. Tob Tob, bear, wisdom, intuition. Tob Tob. This is something that is essential on the path, on the red road, walking the red road. This is one of the virtues. This is one of the Lakota virtues, wisdom. And so that's what this card represents, wisdom and the bear. Wan Ni, the four directions. So the four directions I have mentioned before would be Sapa, Luta, Ki, and Ogaga Ska. We'll be coming up on those in this presentation shortly. So here we have Wan Ni, and it shows 4 horses, the 4 directions, the spirit of the 4 directions. which are always included in your prayers when you use the Chinumpa or the sacred pipe. We'll be coming up on that later. Yum or yum. Allow love in your life. Okay, the whirlwind. Here we go with kind of like the wind, another aspect of the wind, or a sister of the wind, the whirlwind. And what do you think of when you think of a whirlwind? Well, you think of things being stirred up. But this particular word happens to, and you know, these notes that I put on here, I actually got from the book written by Archie Fire Lamedeer and others, in collaboration with others, to mean what it, you know, to allow certain meanings, or to imply certain meanings. Allow love in your life. Allow love in your life, and love to others. The whirlwind. Stir things up. Neon. This is the spirit of man. Neon. Higher self. Resources within that can handle all situations. Now, I look at this as the same thing that you would find in Hindu mythology. The word Purusha, or the higher self, okay? So, you know, when we're talking about the spirit of man, we're talking about the higher self. We're talking about the self that is almost like an intermediary between Great Spirit, Wakan Tonka, and mankind, or the self, all right? And so this would be the higher self. This is my interpretation of it, the higher self, which again gives you the resources within to handle all situations that might arise in your life. You always have the resource, you always have the connection, you always have the higher self as an intermediator to the complete Great Spirit, or Wakan Tonka. This is an interesting one, Nagi. This is mentioned many times as the spirit, or let's say the aspect of the darker side of yourself, and sometimes it is called the shadow side. Nagi means ghost. So there's many ways that you could interpret this, there's many ways that you could look at this, but usually the way I look at it is we all have that dark side in the subconscious, all right? Because we couldn't exist without the dark and the light. Now, a lot of people get afraid of the, oh, I got a dark side, or it's evil, or whatever. But that's not the way you look at it. Basically, you look at it as embracing the ghost, or embracing the dark side, and integrating it into your life, or into your personality, or into you as a person as a whole, all right? Because the minute you try to reject the ghost, or reject the dark side, it actually gets angry, or it actually feels alienated, or it feels like unloved, let's say, or wants attention, or whatever. So actually, it's better to embrace that part of yourself, integrate it, work with it, love it. Almost like the yin aspect, okay? And it could actually represent, or be, in my mind, in my interpretation, the yin is associated with the feminine. Associated with the feminine. So that's like integrating the masculine and the feminine. This all, you know, if you put all this stuff together, you're seeing the interplay of nature, the masculine and feminine, the cosmos, energies, that type of thing. Sikun, intellect. Intellect. So the notes I made on this one from the book are don't think too much and mesh thoughts with feelings. Mesh thoughts with feelings, or look at where thoughts create feelings, and feelings might come from thoughts. Sometimes we can have our thoughts override us. Too many thoughts come into our mind, and usually these thoughts are worrisome thoughts. A lot of times they're worrisome thoughts. That comes from the subconscious. That comes from the shadow side, as in the previous card. And these are things that need to be dealt with, but when it says down here, mesh thoughts and feelings, okay, that means realize that the thoughts are the feelings. Thoughts create feelings. So if you're feeling bad, you might be having a bad thought, or you might be having a worrisome thought. Don't think too much. Just basically go with the flow. Try to still your mind. Intellect is good, because it's connected with knowledge, but then on the other hand, it's kind of like a two-edged sword, where the more intellect you have, where do you get that intellect from? Do you get it from others? And are their thoughts correct? The indoctrination that you have had since childhood, and the thoughts and all the knowledge and learning. Got to realize sometimes that what's beneficial and what isn't. Okay, and now we have Yumene Woha, or Wo'uha. I'm not exactly perfect on these pronunciations. I think I'm getting them pretty much correct, according to, the way verbs and syllables and dialect and all that stuff. I'm kind of a natural with it. I get pretty close, especially when you've been around it a while. Yumene Wuha. This is about the material. Abundance is yours. Accept it. This is in regards to the material plane of the earth, and realizing that everything that we have in our life is originated from Mother Earth. Okay, Mother Earth, Grandfather Sky, the natural order of things. So when you think about things like, let's say, money, or you think about things like gold, or you think about like an increase in income, and you might have a block with that or whatever, then you have to realize that all good things come from the universe. All good things come from the material. And what is the material? Well, the material is none other than the natural order of things, the planet, Utsi Maka, Mother Earth. So everything that we have, the abundance that we have around us, just takes different form at different times. And if that form is a form of flow of, let's say, a monetary flow, that's all good and shouldn't be looked at as evil or anything like that, because where does everything come from? So it's basically the person that blocks their own abundance through some form of belief system surrounding that. So basically what this is saying is accept it. Just accept it. Don't question it. It's a blessing. Look at everything as a blessing from the natural order of things. Anojete. Anojete. Woman with two faces. Isn't that interesting? Looking at duality. That's what this is about, looking at duality and acceptance of both. Okay, so this represents birth and death, duality, good and evil, dark and light. That's what the duality is, and the duality resides in the world we live in, although when you get enlightened, you go into a non-dual aspect, or seeing it as all in one. So you could be cruising along in the morning and come up with this card, hit somewhere on the video and come up with this card. Remember, you could do that by just taking your cursor and going along the bottom of the video, picking a place and go click, and there you are, that card for the day. Or you could do it 3 times and get 3 cards for the day. This could be a tool for you and at no cost. So here you go. Use these cards daily, go to them daily, meditate upon them, think about them. Think about the meaning of them, look at the imagery of them. What meaning does that have for you today? It could even have a very mundane meaning. You could apply this card to something like, let's say somebody has been two-faced to you. Lied to you, said one thing to your face, and then turned around and gossiped behind your back. That type of thing. But it also means duality. There's all, you can make a higher meaning for this or a lower meaning for it. A more mundane meaning. Let's go to the next card. Oh, wow. Iktomi. Iktomi is the spider. All right. Okay, so this is not a bad card, although it looks pretty daunting, doesn't it? This is fear of unseen. This is the fear of the unseen, fear of death, fear of all kinds of different things. Fear of events, fear of venturing out, fear of trying new things. It just represents fear in general. But with this card comes an admonition of so with the spider you got the web, but the spider, Iktomi, is just part of this whole big picture here. You got to look at the whole big picture. Sometimes this card is telling you to look at the bigger picture and not just the spider. Because the spider is deceiving when the whole web of life is more enlightening, all right? And so in Lakota tradition, oftentimes you'll hear stories, and I might do some of these stories later on in future videos. There's many stories about Iktomi. And Iktomi is viewed as the trickster as well in Lakota tradition. Just like the coyote in Apache tradition and other traditions is viewed as the trickster. But there's many stories about the trickster, but all of the stories have a message in them, all right? A message of life, or for going through life's travails and that type of thing. So yeah, this is not a bad card. It's just telling you certain things about fears that you might have, and looking at the bigger picture, or just kind of relaxing with the situation at hand. This card is called Kanka. Old woman sorceress. Love it. Dreams, guidance, communication. Again, this would be from the higher self as well. So when the Lakota speak of the spirits of the ancestors, this is how they come through the higher self, through dreams, through visions, through communication, through a vision quest, through a sweat lodge. This is just another, the feminine aspect, okay, of the higher self. Advice, good advice. Wouldn't you go to an elder for good advice? This is Kasa or Sa, goddess of water. This represents Mini Wachoni, or Mini meaning water. We'll get to that later. Water is life. But also it represents a flow. Allow issues to surface in due time. Don't force things, you know. If you have something in the subconscious that's bothering you and you've kind of identified it, but you don't really want to confront it, there's no hurry here. There's no rush. You just allow things to flow and allow things to surface in due time. Whatever feels right for you, the right time for you to take a course of action or to address a situation. Try to listen to your higher self in that regard. So this has to do with the element of water, flow, mind like water. Sometimes you hear that terminology in martial arts or Taoist philosophy, the stilling of the mind. The calmer the mind, the calmer the water, the more things are allowed to surface, and you can just let go of them, identify them and let go of them. Wazi, I love this one. Road to resolving issues, old man sorcerer of the north. I always like the north, the spirit direction of the north. This is associated with the spirit direction Luta. We'll get to that later. The spirit direction of the north. This represents road to resolving issues, a healing, a clearing of doubts, faith. Again, this is part of your higher self. This would be the masculine aspect of the higher self, just like the former one was the feminine aspect, the woman sorceress. So you can see that you have the feminine and masculine aspects covered here in Lakota spirituality. I just have to say at this point, I think it's such a beautiful thing, the spirituality, because it's purely nature-oriented. And not only that, but it's supernatural. It's not only natural, but it guides you to the supernatural as well, without the need for some type of biblical God or things of that nature. God is all around us. God is within us. We are God in a sense. Tob, protection of self. Now we had Tob earlier as wisdom, so these things can go hand in hand. These things go hand in hand. 8 directions of the wind. The 8 directions of the wind. So you have the spirit of the 4 directions, but also in between each one of those directions is another direction, kind of like southeast, northwest, that type thing. But you can use the spirit of the 8 directions and the spirit of the 4 directions for protection. Protection of self. This also has the admonition of don't internalize things. Don't take outer things and think that they necessarily apply to you, or hold them in your gut, or you are your own protection in a sense by not internalizing things. Like, say somebody says something to you that might indicate your character being off or dark, or not like they like it or whatever. You don't want to internalize that. You want to protect yourself. So we have Tob Tob, 8 directions of the wind. Tate, tate. Singing, chanting, getting things out. Getting things out to Great Spirit, the wind. There's another aspect of tate, see. Got all kinds of aspects of the wind. I think we had tate earlier. There's another aspect, singing, chanting, getting things out to Great Spirit, letting the wind carry your prayers, using chanting and ritual and the playing of the drum to do trance work. Trance work is very valuable. It's a very valuable thing. When you go into a supposed trance, you're actually, what you're doing is transcending the normal state of consciousness so that you can make a connection to Great Spirit. That's why you see in some of the powwows the constant beating of the drum. The constant beating of the drum like a heartbeat, almost in time with the heartbeat, until you get into the primal, which takes you, when you go to the primal, then it takes you to the spiritual. This is a form of Tantra as well, using whatever is around you in the way of form, sight, sound, feelings, primal energy, to raise your consciousness. Tate, the wind. Umeni. This represents another form of the wind, whirlwind and storm. Whirlwind and storm. So this could represent confusion, as depicted very aptly by the illustration here. Confusion, dark night of the soul, don't know what to do, want a way out. Well, this admonition is to focus on one direction. Focus on one direction. Whirlwind and storm. Mapia, cloud. Mapia represents cloud. This, in the notes section from the books, learn from addiction or addictive way of thinking and compulsion. So sometimes you'll hear the term, oh, his vision is clouded, or it's a dark day, or it's clouds are sometimes associated with turbulence and darkness and a cloudy day and a cloudy mind and that type of thing. Although I don't view clouds particularly that way because I'm a thunder dreamer and I love clouds and I know the Wakanyan live there. But this can be used to remind you that you may be getting in, out of balance in a way of thinking or a way of doing things, or let's say habits or compulsions or obsessive disorders, that type of thing. It's like it may be telling you you want to put a check on it or try to pray on it. Here we go with one of the spirits of the four direction. The West, black, Sapa, you've heard me mention this before in different videos. Sapa would be the West, it would be where the Wakanyan live. You could see a picture of the Thunderbird here. This also represents meditation and breaks from life. The West, the black, kind of one step up from the South, which is pretty spiritual and the other world. This is kind of fringing on it. This indicates that you need to meditate, you need to take a break, you need to go to the spirit sources, you need to just chill a while, relax. Call on the Wakanyan for their protection and their, for your well-being. Sapa, the West. Spirit direction of the West. Black. Sapa means black. Luta. This is renewal of mind and body, the North. Red. This is spirit direction of the North. This is where Wazi lives. Remember Wazi earlier, the sorcerer of the old man sorcerer of the North. Renewal of mind and body. Go to the spirit direction of the North for renewal of mind and body. All these spirit directions have powers. So the spirit direction of the West is meditation. Go there first, and in your meditation, think about the spirit direction of the North. Call upon Luta or Wazi for renewal of mind and body. Ki, the East, yellow. Remember we had the sun, and you see the rising sun here, bright dawn, seeing life with new clarity. Spirit direction of the East. Spirit direction of the East, source of all life. Yellow. Probably this word means yellow. The East. The South. We're going through the four directions here. So now we're to Ogaga. The South. White. Completion. Internal work paying off. When you go to Ogaga, see the owl sometimes in Lakota tradition is feared because it represents death, but really it shouldn't be feared. It just represents the other side. It represents beyond the veil. It represents going to the spirit world. And this, the book gives a good connotation on this internal work paying off or completion. So it's a sense of completing a cycle and starting a new one. Should be looked at in a good way. Inipi. Inipi is the sweat lodge. This has been mentioned in earlier videos, and actually these cards are called the Sweat Lodge cards by Archie Fire Lame Deer again. And so, of course, all the elements of the Inipi are going to be included in this series, a form of spirituality. And what do you do when you go into a sweat lodge? You remove thought barriers. You purify yourself. It's just another way to transcend. It's another way to trance out, transcend. Let go of your small self. Let Great Spirit take over, purify, sweat things out. Feel refreshed, feel renewed. Come out of the sweat lodge, baby. You will feel that. Because the whole procedure of the sweat lodge is based on the mound and the fire pit and the heating up of rocks and taking them inside and the pouring of water over the rocks and the steam, and it gets intense. It gets intense. You want to leave. You're given permission to leave if you have to. Some people can't take it. But that is a form of purification and a vision quest and that type of thing. And Nipi, sweat lodge, very, very important. Chanupa Wakan. Chanupa Wakan. A lot of times, when you say Wakan, that means holy. Chanupa is pipe, so it's holy pipe. So you have the description of the object after the object's word here. So Chanupa Wakan. And this represents the sacred pipe which I pray with every day. Prayers, know that they are heard. Know that they are heard. This is a way to offer prayer, even if you don't have a pipe, or even if you don't pray with an actual physical pipe, you could still imagine it, or you could still have the same kind of reverence that you would have if you were actually sitting with the pipe. And then again here in the illustration, we have the white buffalo calf woman who brought the pipe to the Lakota people as a gift. And I've done videos on that. There's a whole story surrounding that. Chawakan, tree of life. Tree of life, acceptance of people and circumstances. Also, it's the tree represents, the tree of life is in many traditions. See how all these traditions are connected? I mean, the high spiritual practices are connected in a way. Not in a way, they are connected. So the tree of life is evident in all kinds of teachings and mystery schools. So you have in ancient Egypt, you have the Egyptian tree of life, and in the Kabbalah you have the tree of life, and the tree of life is just very prevalent in all kinds of spiritual traditions, as well as in Lakota. Chawakan, tree of life. Sometimes you will do a thing called a prayer tie, where you make these little prayer ties, little pieces of cloth, with prayers for certain people or certain things or certain ways, certain things to be resolved. And what do? You go out and you tie it to an actual tree. Okay. And this is part of Lakota ritual. Because what better way to communicate with Mother Earth and with Father Sky and with the spirit that moves in all things, what better way than to go out in nature, take your thoughts, put it in a prayer tie or a prayer bundle, and actually tie it to the tree so that it can be part of what you're asking for, or what you're offering to Great Spirit in the way of supplication for an answer or a change in the condition of your life or whatever. Chawakan, tree of life. Apo Wachipi, Apo Wichipi. Apo Wichipi, morning star. Morning star. This is actually indicates a light has appeared to guide you. It's kind of like a spirit guide. It's kind of like walking the red road. You would be following the Apo Wichipi. Apo Wichipi, I'll get that. A light has appeared to guide you. Morning star. Morning star. Spirit guide. Guidance. Guidance from your higher self, guidance from the higher order of things. Beautiful card. Tukasila Oniwan. Ability to trust. So here you see a bunch of people in a sweat lodge like I described earlier, with the rocks being heated and prayers being offered. And the stones in the middle, that would be the inyan. See how everything is included here on an elementary or an elemental level? This also, Tukasila, is another way to address Wakan Tonka, the Great Spirit, grandfather's breath. Now I look at this, grandfather's breath, I look at this as a type of Holy Spirit, activating force, a chi or prana type spirit that moves in all things, moves through all things. Almost like intermediary between nature, the supernatural, and the natural, the supernature and nature. And it's also kind of like a trinity. If you look at, that's the way I look at it. Is so you have the Wakan Tonka, grandfather, and then you have Unsi Maka, Mother Earth, and then you have Tukasila, which is kind of like the mediator in between a trinity, an essence, that type of thing. But you could just use the word Tukasila or Tukashila. And use that as part of your prayer. Wakan Tonka, Tukasila, Unsi Maka. Spirit of the four directions, there is room in this pipe for you when you do a pipe ceremony, or there is room in this sweat lodge for you. Inclusion of all aspects of the creative and the divine. Remember, we have the feminine and masculine aspect, and then, we have the human aspect, which includes both of those things. And all of the material things in life are manifestations of the divine interaction, interplay. Tukasila Oniwan. Pajuta Wakan. Pajuta Wakan. Sacred herbs. So you Wakan or holy herbs. Pajuta is herb, Wakan is holy. Accept healing that will come. Heal others. Sacred herbs. Accept healing that will come in order to heal others. So this is an excellent, excellent view of using natural medicine and, in a sense, a healing aspect of the universe, and you might have whatever sacred herbs or medicine that you need that facilitates your well-being. It's all good to use these things. I gotta laugh sometimes. I say Pajuta Sapa, black herb, and that means to me coffee. That's one of my sacred herbs. It's something I have to have every morning and every night, actually. Pajuta Sapa, but this is Pajuta Wakan, so, little tongue-in-cheek there, little tongue-in-cheek. Let's get to the next card. Chanli Wapakta. Chanli Wapakta, prayer ties. Prayer ties. This is what I was talking about earlier when you go out and you tie a prayer tie to the tree or the tree of life. Shift, what does this say? Attention from self to others. So this could also represent giving. Okay. Having a giving attitude towards those that give to you in some form or another, or just having a giving attitude or an exchanging attitude or an attitude. See, giving is the greatest gift, not to the person receiving it, but to yourself. Keep that in mind. So even if you offer a prayer as a giving, or if you offer monetary or material things as a giving, doesn't matter about the material things, except, the person receiving them is very grateful, but what matters here is the principle. You receive just as much, if not more, in your giving as the person does in receiving. So prayers and prayer ties are a beautiful way of giving to others. Olowampi. Olowampi. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. See, that's a form of sacred song. Walking in harmony with your environment. How do you do this? Well, you are in constant awareness of what is surrounding you on a natural level. You communicate with it. You play the Native American flute. You chant. Hey, I, oh, hey, I, oh, hey, I, hey. You can do that, or you can, use rattles and drums and anything to kind of trance you out and put you in that beautiful, carefree state of mind and, let's say, pagan state of mind. That's really funny because pagan is defined as nature worship. So, again, tongue-in-cheek there for all you good people out there. Tongue-in-cheek. So this video has reached the hour mark, which will take me forever to upload. So I will do a part 2 with the rest of the cards in a follow-up video. So we're at card 37 and there's 50 cards, so we have a few to go yet. And I will include that in my next video. Let me transition to this view here so you will know more about me and this channel. This channel is the Red Road channel, of course, which is associated with my website, Spirit of Crazy Horse. And you can get there by going to this spiritofcrazyhorse.com link in the show notes below, and I'll also put it in the comments section. And you can also contact me through this email down here, rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. And when you go to Spirit of Crazy Horse, you'll find my books there. Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart, an award-winning book, and also Emergence. I have 2 other books as well. So you will be able to see that there. I would appreciate any donations that you can offer to me in exchange for the gift of the wisdom of the Lakota Sweat Lodge cards. Now, when you do that, when you give a donation, you will receive this book here, Listen to the, or this one, whichever one you prefer, you will receive Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart, or Emergence, one of these 2 books, with any donation that you offer to me at this time, or offer to the effort that is put forth in this channel and the support of this channel. Also, this email, when you contact me, you can ask to join the Red Road Prayer Circle, Walking the Red Road, in support of this whole collaboration of unity and walking the Lakota way, or being in tune with nature, that type of thing. So I guess I'm going to leave it there today. Again, all this information can be found in the show notes or in the comments section. Please remember that when you give, the greatest gift is the giving itself and not the the receiver. The receiver enjoys as well. But it's all one for all and all for one type thing. So I appreciate it. Appreciate it in advance. your giving heart. I'll leave it there today. I'm going to continue this video on the Lakota language and the spirituality and the spiritual meanings in part 2. So look for part 2, subscribe to the channel, and again, like the video just for the effort put out. And until next time, I will leave it there, and I will just say, Washte, it is good. Aho.